story was mentioned in the last two rak'ah, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, إِنَّا أَنزَلْنَا إِلَيْكَ الْكِتَابَ بِالْحَقِّ لِتَحْكُمَ بَيْنَ النَّاسِ بِمَا أَرَاكَ اللَّهُ وَلَا تَكُنْ لِلْخَائِنِينَ خَصِيمًا. Indeed, we sent down the book to you in truth, so you would judge among people. You would judge among people with what Allah Azza wa Jal gave you, with the laws of Allah. Therefore, do not be a defendant for the wrongdoers. Kha'inin, plural of kha'in, traitor. Wrongdoer, traitor, disobedient. This story happened in Medina, where a family of the companions, they had some food, some staple food, and it used to be kept in small place. Usually they didn't have closets like in our time. What did they do? In the wall they would keep a hole. It's like a store place. Another family, their neighbors from the hypocrites, they penetrated the wall. They dug a hole and they took everything. Now, this family that stole the food, they were poor. That night, when the food was stolen, the family saw, the family that they lost their food, they saw some fire from their neighbors, fire from cooking. So they noticed, it was very clear that the food was taken from them. Those are poor people. When they lost the food, now they are cooking. So it has to be their food. They wanted to go to the Prophet ﷺ. They sent their uncle, who was one of the known companions to the Prophet ﷺ. They told him, this is the story, go and tell the Prophet ﷺ that these are the thieves. They stole our food. The man went to the Prophet ﷺ, and as usual, the Prophet ﷺ asked, is there a proof? The poor people, what did they do? They left a trace going back to a household of the Jews. It's easy. They are disbelievers, so they are the culprits. They are the wrongdoers. The Prophet ﷺ, when he asked for a proof, he said, we noticed that there is a fire. They cooked, and they are poor people. They don't have the ability to do that. It was the night the food was lost. But the Prophet ﷺ said that's not enough. And when he heard about the trace, that was even an indication that they are not the ones who stole the food. So the uncle came back, he said, I wish I didn't go. You didn't send me for a good mission. The Prophet ﷺ did not like it. So the people were upset. They said, by Allah, we know that they are the ones who stole the food. And Insha Allah, Allah will declare and will mention the name of the thief. Now the Prophet ﷺ wanted to punish the Jews because the evidence leads to them, until the ayat came down. وَلَا تَكُنْ لِلْخَائِنِينَ خَصِيمًا. Actually, this story and the ayat, they are a main evidence for practicing law and being a lawyer. What's the ruling on being a lawyer? Permissible or haram? What do you think?
To steal? Haram.
Based on this ayah, scholars said it is permissible to be a defendant for those who cannot represent themselves, as long as you are representing something that is true. You know your defendant is guilty, and you say, it's my job, they paid me the money, it is privilege of client, lawyer. No, this is haram. That's what Allah Azza wa Jal said. وَلَا تَكُنْ لِلْخَائِنِينَ خَصِيمًا. Do not be a defendant for the traitors, for the wrongdoers. But for the ones who are victims, yes, you can be a defendant. So scholars said, based on this ayah, it is actually permissible to practice law. It's one of the best deeds to defend those who cannot defend themselves. But at the same time, it could be haram, prohibited, when you are defending someone and you know that he is wrongdoer. So the ayat came down and declared the innocence of the Jews. Look at the justice of Islam. Just because they are Jews, they are from the others, they are not like us, not our citizens, doesn't mean that we can go ahead and do whatever we want with them. So Allah Azza wa Jal exposed those hypocrites who stole and made it clear that the Jews were innocent. And that's why later Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ سُوءًا أَوْ يَظْلِمْ نَفْسَهُ ثُمَّ يَرْمِ بِهِ بَرِيئًا. It's bad enough that you did wrong, you stole. It's worse when you put it on someone else. That is even worse. And that's what Allah Azza wa Jal was saying. It is a very beautiful story, and it is a lesson for us as well. First, we have to stand for justice. We have to speak the truth. We have to defend those who cannot defend themselves. We have to seek justice and see who is the faulty, who's the one at wrong, and we have to punish him. That's what Allah Azza wa Jal told the Prophet ﷺ. Subhanallah, if the Prophet ﷺ, who was acting as a judge, Allah Azza wa Jal told him, وَاسْتَغْفِرِ اللَّهِ, ask Allah for forgiveness. Prophet ﷺ did not do anything wrong. He was about to punish the Jew based on the evidence, and that is not wrong. But Allah Azza wa Jal still told him, وَاسْتَغْفِرِ اللَّهِ, ask Allah for forgiveness. So this is the story for tonight. And tonight's question about one of the companions. Allah Azza wa Jal gave the companions a lot of karamat, a lot of special deeds. One of the companions, he was martyred, and they wanted, the kuffar of Quraysh, they wanted to mutilate, they wanted to take the body and cut it. But Allah Azza wa Jal protected him. Allah sent bees to protect him. And after that, his body was not found. What happened? The earth covered the body. One of the companions was killed by the jinn. One of the companions was carried by the wind. But tonight's question is about a companion who walked over the water. One of the companions, there was a battlefield. Before the battlefield, they were going to the battle, and they had to cross. So he crossed over the water, and he told his followers to cross it over. One of the followers was not from the companions. He felt that this is delusion. This is not true. So he told the companion, I lost something. And the companion went back and got it, walking over the water. So who is that companion? This is tonight's question. Jazakumullah khairan. See you tomorrow night. Assalamu alaikum.